What's going on, everybody? Tuesday here on the Core Conversations. Shout out to Kwesi and his Rise Above podcast. Thank you so much for the t-shirt. Loving it. Great fit. And you know what's even better than the shirt is the work that he's doing. Get his book, get his journal, book him for a speaking engagement. He's doing all the things. So I'm really cheering for my friend and hope that he's doing well. So I hope everything's good for you guys as well. AKI Pilates, hi. Where are you located? Thanks for joining us. And the Core, let's try this one more time. Conversations podcast. Danica is this week's episode. So I gotta say like, subscribe, and share. Bam. Conversation. Just doing a little text to some people. Oh, yes. Done. Sweet. Sunny. How are you this morning? Hope you're doing well. Love seeing your Instagram posts. Good to see that that's coming together. We gotta just keep doing it, right? Keep grinding on it, and yeah, it's some good stuff. I think I have a screenshot. If Sonny, if you could just put in the chat your workshop that's coming up. Let me see if I have a screenshot of it.
Well, first it was done on the 3D printer.
Let's see here. I don't. This is your morning routine, coffee, PJs, and Core Conversations. Yep. good. How's it been for you being consistent with LinkedIn? Have you figured out like a cadence or just a flow that works for you? So for those of you who are going to watch the replay, I really don't have much of an agenda for today. I'm just going to just hanging out. I have some really fun guests who are coming up over the next few days and might even do some workouts. If anyone wants to throw down a workout, I have my 10 o'clocks open and maybe just do like a live workout. Put me through a workout, or I can take someone through a workout, or we could just have some fun with it, something. Lisa, how you doing? So I have 3 p.m. Core conversation will be later in the day tomorrow, so it'll be at 3 p.m. with Raphael from Australia. And then on Thursday, Dan Baker is at 8 a.m., so it'll be an earlier show on Thursday. And then on Friday, my Finish Strong Friday, I have 2 guests. So one will be Chloe at 6 a.m., and then a regular time will be Virgil, who dropped in last week for a quick conversation during our freestyle. So I have some, I'm just excited to just hear people's stories. It doesn't matter who they are or what they do. They could be a teacher for 5 minutes. I'd still love to hear their story of what, how, and why. So pretty cool stuff, pretty chill stuff. So yes, Lisa, I'm doing well. And Lisa, this must be really interesting for you watching these conversations, because we've touched on everything from other types of practitioners to marketing and having different people, hey Aisha, having different people in the space that all kind of lend to our practice, right? So I love having all those different voices in the space. I'm just gonna read the comment here. So Gordon Mojo has her course coming out called The Inspired Cadillac Part 1 with Claire Dunphy-Hemeny. And it starts on September 28th. It's a 6-week series of 90-minute workshops on Zoom. So please message her for more information. So I'm just reading the comments here. Cupcake Corner UK joined. Hello. And there's another comment here from Lisa saying, so interesting. I learned so much about the different, the different industries. I have too. I think that we're getting smarter up in here. It's so funny. Just looking at things from such different perspectives. Fernando, how are you? So these are my fun mornings. These are the days when, if you've never been on a Core Conversations, you haven't been a guest, I know some of you have, and you may not feel like you have enough content for an hour's conversation, but want to just join me on screen, request to join. I'd love to have you on just to chat real quickly. I don't even have a theme for today. I just kind of just went with it. And we just have some fun conversations that way when there really is no script. I have a friend. Hi, Emmett. I have a friend who is working on a podcast, and they got picked up by a radio station, and he was sharing how challenging it is for him to have polished content. If you think about it, I had the luxury of just bringing on whoever I want, saying whatever I want, and not have to worry about it being a conflict of interest. He now has to police what he says from the perspective of, if he says something that promotes a brand, that brand could have been paying for advertising with the radio station, and now they're getting free advertising from him. That's actually taking money out of the pocket of the brand, of the radio station. So he has to be careful what he can say and how he can say it. It becomes so restricted, and it's interesting, like who knows where these Core Conversations will go and what direction, if it becomes. Thank you, I love the t-shirt too, man. Kwesi did a good job with it. So wherever this goes, what that would look like if we have to polish up the content, because there's so many different things that are that get said here that can be so controversial or so. It just takes money out of someone's pocket and puts money in someone else's pocket, and that's not necessarily good. But who knows? We'll cross the bridge when we get there. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my time with you all. Going more, Joe has a comment. Says, as far as LinkedIn is concerned, I have to use a different browser to post articles. So working on that. Thanks for the kick to get it on. Yes. So I've been on this challenge, and I think we have some pretty good accountability going on in terms of LinkedIn and just getting our content out there and supporting one another there. I don't know about you, Sonny, but I'm finding it pretty simple to grab someone else's content, repost it, and just give them credit for it. I'm not even reinventing the wheel. Like someone else, hey Joel, someone else has done the work. Like I'll give you an example. The Pilates Body, Natalia Sebastian, is a lady here in Toronto, and she has amazing content, and she has stuff that comes up on LinkedIn all the time. John Blanchfield is a Pilates instructor from Trinidad, and he also has some great articles. These guys are digging deep. Like she is digging deep for some articles. She brought up Roxy's article, which is a science-based Pilates article, and they're putting that stuff up on LinkedIn, and all I do is reshare it. I'm just like, great post by Natalia, check her out. Amazing post by JB, thanks for posting this. And that's all I do, just recycle people's content, because my audience has yet to see what they posted, and now they're going to see this one piece. They're going to see her, and that's going to hopefully turn into business for her. And all these things always come back to you. So I love the fact that, I don't know about you, but I'm not afraid to promote other people, even if it's at my own expense, because I know it'll come back to me. So yes, that's where LinkedIn comes in for me, Sonny. I just repost people's stuff. Like I'm not even going to try and reinvent the wheel. I might even just grab my stuff. I might just screenshot an old picture of me doing some exercise to say, I have an online class. This is something that we did the other day. I'd not even put an ask of, like, just letting you know this is what I do. Let them dig in and find more. So that's what I do. Joel, I just thank you again for our conversation with John Claude as well the other day. That was so fun. I just love having guys in this space. I think it is just fun that we can just crack jokes and have nothing really serious to say. just hang out here. It's fun. Going more, Joe saying, I mostly share other people's stuff. So perfect, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, we don't have to sit there and spend the whole day writing a blog. There's enough content out there, and there's enough people that are doing stuff that we can just continue to amplify their stuff. Question, do you think LinkedIn is more valuable than Instagram? No, I don't think that it's more valuable. I think that it's valuable in a different way. And the example I was given is that, look at who's in the room right now. The other people in the room, everyone in, hi Virgil, everyone in the space right now are Pilates instructors, right? So literally everyone in the room right now is a Pilates instructor. So if I was to tell you the value of Pilates, you'd be like, yeah, I know. I'm preaching to the choir. If I go on LinkedIn, my followers are tax guys and other businesses and, old clients and their people and old jobs that I've worked at. My whole set of people that I follow on LinkedIn are all professionals, people looking for jobs, all those different things, and people who have found me throughout the years. That population aren't Pilates instructors. So if I put a Pilates post up there, the guy who's going to read it is, my old client who's sitting behind a desk who hasn't trained with me since 2001. And he's like, I should really reach out to Martin. Every day I say I'm going to do that. I never do. He's doing Pilates now. Maybe that'll help my back. I'm going to send him a message. So it's doing the exact same thing, but to a different audience. This is business to business. So we're talking and we are learning about the other things that Joel is doing, and that Sunday has a workshop coming that's going to help us to get better at our craft. So it's business to business. Over on LinkedIn, I set it up based on my following to make it business to consumer. I want them to consume that content. I want them to read that email and sign up for a session with Sunny. I want them to see my picture and say, okay, I live close by, maybe I should drop into his studio. So I'm using LinkedIn as B2C, and I use LinkedIn as B2B. We're business to business here. Make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. And you know, that really is based on the people I've chose to follow. And that's kind of just been my experience, where I don't have, like, most of the people that I follow on Instagram are Pilates peeps. My Facebook is just like friends and family, community, old high school friends, all that stuff. So it's almost like my Twitter is like kind of business stuff. My Instagram following are my Pilates people. Real Men Do Pilates is specifically like Pilates. Facebook is like friends and family, and LinkedIn is professional, like other professionals. So that in that way, I have them set up so that all those different things can be focused on certain things. So I don't go and just follow another set of Pilates people on LinkedIn unless they're not on Instagram. So there's some Pilates people on LinkedIn that don't have Instagram accounts that I connect with there. And Emma's question is, totally, but does it actually work? Did you get local or online clients from LinkedIn? Well, okay, so now that's a great question. So I feel like I'm starting over on LinkedIn, so I haven't made very many asks on LinkedIn. I feel like I'm still putting deposits into LinkedIn. I'm building some credibility, I'm building some trust, I'm letting people get a window into what I do on LinkedIn. So I haven't said, come sign up for this, go sign up for that. I might say go sign up for his stuff, or go sign up for her stuff, but I haven't made a flat out ask on LinkedIn, like come join my class on Tuesday. I'm still making deposits on LinkedIn before I ask for a withdrawal of them investing in me. Eventually, yes. And I'm thinking about the different populations that I want to get on LinkedIn. Like some of my clients who work for big tax companies, I've already asked if I could use some of his posts. So I'll start to use his posts and say, like, this is someone who is working from home, and now in December, they're going to be expected to go back to their office. What are you going to do when you're back at your office and you're sitting at your desk? You'll need to take a lunch break. Make it a staff day every Wednesday to join, or every Thursday to join my online class in the middle of your workday with your staff team. So that might be my ask. And I'm going to set that up just over time. So then they'll see a whole, like, who's this Martin guy? And they'll see months of posts and articles and stuff applied. So I'm setting up almost like the next quarter by doing those things. Just reading the comments here. So totally makes sense. Build the trust before you ask for something. JC Vitality is saying, I've never used LinkedIn other than creating a profile. I will have to explore that more. Yeah, Joel, and and it's funny, like, if your profile's there and people can find your studio, that's perfect. And then just take one day a week, ask one of your kids to just repost repost articles. So if you follow like one or two Pilates people, even follow me. I'm just reposting people's stuff anyways. Just follow me and just repost what I put up. There's your life hack. Follow me and just repost what I'm reposting. There we go. We have our formula set for everybody who's watching right now. Simple as that. Yes, you definitely gotta give to get. People don't know who we are, right? Like, they don't know what we're offering. And I know that if someone comes to my front door cold and tries to sell me a vacuum, I'm like, nah. But if I saw like Dyson commercials on infomercials for 6 months, and some guy rolls up with like a whole Dyson truck and he's doing a whole thing, I might be inclined to buy it. The whole yellow brick road tactic. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but yeah. And I'm like Joel, I've been there for years, pre-IG, but don't have don't do anything with that. Right, so this is exactly it. So this is your time to resurrect that. Like, people are gonna be like, oh, I didn't know you were alive still. It's totally there. It's free. Like, just repost stuff. Don't put energy into it. Like, give it like, we're here. Okay, here's our segue. Yesterday we were talking about cadence, and it was like a mind-blown moment for Tasha. We were saying cadence. And what I mean by cadence is, like, what's the flow to these things? Like, consistency is important, but sometimes we figure we're not going to do it because we don't have time, because it means that we're going to have to spend 4 hours a day on LinkedIn to make it relevant. And what I was saying to her yesterday is like, find a different cadence. Find a cadence that works for you. Joel, if you were to say the first Monday or every other Monday, I'm going to spend half an hour and just type in Pilates in the search and just repost people's Pilates articles, and then don't do anything till next Monday, or let's say next Monday, your cadence now is a half hour every Monday. People will start to see and expect over time that something's coming every Monday from JC Vitality Method. Your cadence is the thing that matters. It doesn't matter how much or how little, as long as it's consistent and it falls in the same block of time, then people get used to that block of time. So if you, over the course of 6 weeks, do a Monday post, take half an hour every Monday and repost a Pilates article, on the 7th week, you say, I do an online class coming up this Friday, I'd love to see you. Then they're gonna see that, they're gonna look at who you are, go back and see 6 articles, because you've done one every single week. That cadence has now built something up to a point where now you have a little bit of trust and someone might give it a try. Cadence. That was a word for yesterday. That for Tasha, that was so freeing for her, because she was saying she is ADD and she wants to go 100 miles an hour with everything that she does, and then she burns out because she just went 100 miles an hour. I was like, well, why don't you just go 30 miles an hour, do it like once a month, and sustain that for a year. That will program everybody. And like, you lower your expectations, you create some consistency, and consistency wins every time. Consistency wins every time. So if you go hard and then drop off, the person who just stays slow and steady and stays consistent, finds a cadence that works, is going to win every single time. This is a heavy cadence. Like, every day at 10 o'clock is tough. And I even feel with my Australia people coming in this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those aren't at 10 o'clock. So I'm already thinking, what am I going to do at 10 o'clock? So I have Raphael at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So that means at 10 o'clock in the morning, I gotta do something. So I'm gonna be in here, maybe I'll do a workout, I'll just reach out to somebody, maybe they wanna teach me and just like crush me for an hour, or maybe I could teach somebody else, or we can talk, do a freestyle and talk about core compassion and that whole project that's coming up. That'll be 10, but then there's a 3 o'clock. So I'm basically, you saw the post already, training everyone to look at a different time, because the cadence is the same a day, but the cadence is different. It's not 10 o'clock. So people are going to be like, what happened at 10 o'clock? Where's core conversations? Not everybody, but some people that, you guys. So I'm going to do something at 10 o'clock. Even if it's like 15 minutes. At 10 o'clock on the dot, I'll be on here. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Bang, let's do something. Peace out. See you at 3 o'clock. I'll do that Thursday as well, because Dan will be before. So Dan's going to be at 8 a.m. So we would have done core conversations, signing off at 9, and someone's going to roll in at 10. Like, what happened to core conversations? So let's come back on at 10 and let's just chat for a few minutes at 10 o'clock and talk about what Dan talked about at 8. And then on Friday, fortunate enough to have Virgil joining me once again. Is he still here? No, he's not. But Flowboy87 is Virgil, who is in Ohio. Great Pilates instructor. He's been in the game for like 21 years and never even saw him. He's got like a few posts up, but doing brilliant stuff. I'm looking forward to that chat at 10, but my time at 6 a.m. will be with Chloe, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Same day, double the cadence. Find your cadence that works for you. I'm pushing this because I like it. Gives me energy. Don't talk to me about billing right now, or invoicing, or admin. That is a whole different argument, a whole different thing for me, where I legit have to be mindful of that, because that's not easy for me. That's not something I'm excited about. I'm sure you feel my pain on that. But Beth, how are you? That was a good conversation yesterday. I really, really enjoyed that chat. How many of you guys were there yesterday? Just a show of hands or a thumbs up if you caught some of the conversation from yesterday.
Hi, Oliver. Hello.
Beth, I'm doing good. Yeah. Work hard, play hard, rest hard, sleep hard. Yeah, I think it's about consistency. Jay Spring 84 yesterday bought me a coffee. I really appreciated that, as did Tasha. They talked about buymeacoffee.com, and right after the chat, a few people did. So thank you so much for that. I'll explain that in a second. I just want to read this comment. I totally hear what you're saying and agree. It's really important to find a rhythm that works for you. Yes. I actually made a shirt that says #cadence on it after our conversation yesterday. Got lost in the convo after a while. Yeah, in a good way. Like, what do you mean lost? I mean, we were all over the place with a lot of stuff. Or just lost, because like it was heavy. There's a lot of stuff in that conversation. Saran. Yes, lost. Yeah, there's a lot. I had to watch it again. I can't even go into how many conversations that we just meandered all over the place, and but I was encouraged at the same time, just with the stories of challenges and a vision, and yeah, it's crazy. Saran, yes. Saran is a marketing queen, that's true. I had a great conversation with her. And, yeah, lots of good stuff. Yes, I got you. I followed it. How are you, Saran? Yeah, that's a good question, Joel. Are you seeing more live workshops happening? It looks like there are. There's none really in this area happening. Like Mississauga, Toronto is still pretty locked down / scared / I'm not going to go into the whole COVID thing, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening where people are still feeling like, let me just do my own thing. Let me just lay low. Gyms are, so like there's not a lot of stuff that's happening. Ratios in terms of space is pretty tight as well. So I'm not sure with the variants. Like there's rumors of it. The main thing, and this is what happened last year too, is like we went back to school, and then all these different things are happening with kids back in school, and more people on the roads, and kids bringing home all kinds of like common colds and flus on top of these variants. Like, who knows, right? So I think everyone's kind of bracing for impact. So in terms of live workshops, not very much stuff is happening because I think everyone is still waiting to see how things unfold. So it's it's an interesting time. Very interesting time in that way. Joel, I mean, you're doing live stuff in your studio, and I think Sunny's workshop is online. Oh, I forgot to ask, Emmett, how was your retreat? How did that go? That's the one thing I'd love to do one day. Emmett did like a Pilates retreat. And there's Claire. Claire, we're just talking about your workshop coming up with Sunny. Teachers. Emmett, if you want to come on, I'd love to hear more about that. When is the next one happening? You know, even if people have stuff that was, you know, I'd love to have people on before their workshop so people could sign up, like Sunday's workshop, and just pushing as much as I can. And yes, Joel doing those hybrid small group studios and some online, like those, it's like a classroom, right? Like that's how my son's class is. There's like 20 kids and 2 online. But if we can get you on before, that's great. If we can get you on after, that's great, because that builds anticipation. And honestly, even just a sound bite. So now you get to talk about it. And there you go. That's real life. Girls should come in any second. Yeah, like everyone's doing some amazing things. So sent you a request. I'm not sure if it went through or not. There. I sent again. I think that went through that time. Hey, my friend.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and.
Hi, how are you?
So good. I just realized that everyone could hear all the background noise because my headphones weren't
Yes.
picked up.
I just thought there's more activity in your studio there.
Yeah, no, there is. You know, my colleague and his daughter were just coming in and all kinds of stuff. Like some of the physio people are saying hi and bye to people. So
Right.
that's real life.
Yeah, that's real life. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's hear about your retreat, man. It looked like it was amazing just from some of your pictures and just the anticipation of it coming up.
It was, yeah. It's it's the 3rd teacher retreat that I run. I do it every September. On that weekend, the 2nd weekend of September. It's about an hour and a half away from London, so south of London. So the weather is quite likely to be quite good this time of the year.
Okay.
And yeah, we're in nature, this beautiful place called Tilton House. And 11 is a good number there because it's in a yurt, and the yurt isn't massive. So it just feels right. And we get there on the Friday, do a class, dinner, chat, get to know each other. And then Saturday I give a class and 2 workshops. And Sunday I give a class and a workshop. And we have lunch, and we go home happy and smiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you bring in other guest teachers, or is it just you teaching?
It's just me. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah. And it's been always Matt until now. I'm thinking maybe next year to bring a window chair.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. So what was the focus, and what was the theme for this year?
So actually the theme is based on what people ask. So once I get the group, I send out an email and I say, let me know what you want to work on. And then I sit with all the requests, which sometimes can be quite challenging. And I just tailor the weekend to them. So this time we started, like, the first class had a back extension and hip extension focus to it.
Yes.
Saturday morning with a magic circle class because people have asked for that.
Yes.
And then we did 2 workshops. One was about working with people that have all kinds of limitations. It was a mixture of things because couple of people asked about working with clients that might go through cancer treatments or have had it before. Others have asked about working with older populations. So it was kind of a theme. It was a bit difficult to create this one, but it worked well. So just working with limitations, modifications, think to keep in mind things to do, things not to do. But usually I try to focus on what to do rather than don't do this, don't do that.
Right.
And then we did a foot and ankle workshop because actually one of the teachers, 5 weeks before the retreat, she fell and twisted her ankle and had a fracture in the malleolus. So I thought, okay, that would be good for her. And I had exactly the same injury 6 years ago.
So you're an expert.
Yeah, so I knew exactly. It was actually really a great moment because she actually stopped wearing the boot a couple of days before. And she came was still wrapped up. And then after the workshop, she just started running, which was really quite nice to see. I'm not saying that I fixed her, but I'm saying she felt so elated by what she can do that she felt very confident.
Yes.
And then Sunday morning, we had a class, and then the workshop was spinal articulation, which in 20 years was the first time I gave a spinal articulation workshop, which sounds really strange. Mm-hmm. But I guess I never thought of making a whole workshop out of it. But yeah, a few people asked, so I thought, okay, let's do it. So I kind of, well, we did like working from bottom up, so from the tail towards the head, and working from the head towards the tail, and then doing flexion extension with rotations. So it was good.
Everyone, if you haven't had a chance to take one of Emma's classes, this guy has so many tools in his toolbox. So many pre-Pilates moves, so many, like, his classes are so hard for me because it just requires me to move in ways that I just don't naturally move, but should be able to.
Are not so classical.
Not so classical. And if it's not necessarily like classical, I mean, if it was just like push-ups and like whatever, I'd be fine. But it's, I think it's a good challenge. I love it. It's really
the thing about my math classes is that I don't know if you can feel it or not as someone who's trained classically, but it's actually, when I think about it, I follow the classical order.
Yes.
When I structure the class, I follow the classical order. I just do a lot of variations and movements around it. And I, skip things or slow down at things. But the skeleton is always there because that was my first training. Actually,
yes, and that's and that's why, and I think that's why I'm bringing it up for everyone too. Is like, as a like, if I'm doing a speech, I have a skeleton. I have my talking points, and I just talk all over the place, but make sure I land at my point, and talk all over the place and land at my point. And so, whether you want to call it classical or not, I can get a sense of where we're going next because I understand the skeleton, but I've never done the exercise that we're doing right now.
The thing is, I've never done it as well many times.
But I think that's the brilliance of it. I think that's what I'm chasing after in my practice over the years is like, you learn those little life hacks, you learn those little movements, you learn about the understanding of how the body moves in certain ways. So you could set up an exercise with an exercise you just made up in your head so that the person can move the way you want them to move 3 exercises from now.
Yeah. It's very, very true. And I mean, the motivation, especially in the last year and a half, for me has been that I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think teachers come to my classes because they're looking for inspiration, they're looking for ideas for their classes. So it drives me to have to keep renewing, keep reintroducing. So I've got the skeleton, and then I've got the theme, and then with the two, I just, of course, I use things that I've done many times before. I use things that I have seen other teachers do, and then I make things up. And I guess I'm lucky that I've got my dance training and being a dancer 30 years ago, that I can draw on that.
Yes. Yeah. You have to know the rules to break the rules, Sonny is saying there.
Yeah, totally. But the thing is, I don't feel I'm breaking the rules. I feel I know the rules, and then I'm just being playful with the rules. And the thing is, in my workouts, they're quite steady. You know, when I do my own workout, I'm not going crazy every time doing something different. I know what works well for me. Of course, it changes over the months, it changes over the years, but you know, I know what works well for me. Um, and I wish I could teach a class that was more steady and still people would come. But I think people after a while would go like, okay, I tick that box called Amity Younger. I know what he's doing. I'll move on to the next thing. So if I want people to keep coming, I feel I need to keep them interested. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're like I was saying, like they're challenging for me. Like I have to like hype myself up to do.
Well,
uh,
I'm just starting again on Friday, so you can
I'm
expect them to keep coming now.
yeah, I'm busy on Friday, so
No, no, don't worry. I'll send you the recording.
okay, great.
Yeah.
No, that's good. So like those retreats are great. I love the fact you're doing that, and you know those are sort of things that keep people connected on another level when you can just pull out of
Mm,
your get out of your own context, right? And like your
yeah.
kids and work and whatever, just unplug to just
Yeah.
get deeper into yourself. That's so needed.
And also,
So
what
much.
actually some people have raised in during the retreat is that it just feels so nice to spend a weekend with other teachers and just talk
Yes.
about things and share things that you were not expecting. Like there were, so when we did the workshops about working with people with limitations, one of the teachers asked a question about working with Parkinson's, which I've been focused a lot on in the last 3 years because I
Okay.
had one client and then another client. So I've done a number of courses and I've educated myself, and I love doing that. Actually, you had Megan, I think.
Couple Duffrey. Yes.
Yeah. So I've taken, after seeing her on your show, I've taken their course as well, which was great.
Oh, amazing. Yes.
Um, so, yeah, so she asked a question about it and I've answered it, but then someone else, you know, said she's got one as well, a client with Parkinson's. And, you know, then in the lunch break, they sit and they have a chat, they talk about it. I put them in touch with some, you know, good resources, things that you don't think will come out of it. Or we had a teacher who's going to start working for a cancer charity, and someone else on the retreat who actually came to, that's her, my fourth retreat that she comes to. She came to
Oh,
a retreat.
amazing.
There was a mixture of teachers and clients, and then to all of the teachers' retreats. And just after last year's retreat, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, went through operations and treatment and all that, came back this year, was totally open about it with the group. And then they had a chat about it and she gave her tips, you know. So it's just
Yes.
so nice to just share and talk about things. And funny enough, the chef was also a yoga teacher who has just done Pilates teacher training. So she was
Okay.
so enthusiastic about meeting a group of teachers and learning and getting some links from them. So
It's so energizing to create to create community in that way.
mm, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you know, I know you're doing this day in day out, and you know, I think it's great. But I just find since May that I went back to running a studio and
Mhm.
teaching full time, I'm really struggling. You know, you talk about cadence, and you know, I'm really struggling with online presence, offline presence, and because I'm like being offline, being with people in the studio. It's
Yes.
what I love, you know. So I really struggled to find my rhythm online, to find the energy, to find, you know, motivation
Right.
to stay online. It's
To stay
difficult.
connected. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think about that too. Like what at some point this has to taper in some way. And what does that next chapter look like? So I'm already giving thought to what that chapter looks like, whether it's twice a week or once a week or one Sunday evening or something. Like it's gonna be disruptive, but then
Mm,
we'll settle into something new.
yeah. No, I mean, it's a shame for me because for probably 6 months, from January till June, I made new friendships online.
Great. Yes.
I connected with people that I think are great. I got a little involved with like some PMA work, but I just had to pull out of everything pretty much, because running a studio, getting the clients to come back.
Yes.
I have to move the studio next month. My lease expires in 10 days. I have to move the studio.
Yes.
It's just one thing after another that you just have to deal with. The retreat, the children on holiday, it's just nonstop. So
Life, man.
exactly. So if you have to prioritize, even though it felt great being online, meeting people, doing all that, it just takes a lower priority when you've got a to-do list that
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We just gotta find that new cadence, right?
And at the same time, who knows what's going to happen? Like Joel just asked you, what's happening in Canada. Here, everything's open and they're doing their best in the UK to not go back into lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Literally last Monday, I was teaching someone, and I'm very hands-on when I teach. And same evening, I get a text saying that he went back home. He got back home, this guy, felt unwell, and he's got COVID. And I literally, like an hour earlier, was all over him, giving him hands-on curing.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm teaching a retreat on this weekend,
Yes.
What if?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, it's like everything's open here, but if I get COVID, if I don't have any symptoms, I'll have to close for 10 days. I wouldn't be able to teach for 10 days.
Right.
So,
yep.
Who knows?
Exactly. Right. And I feel like that's maybe the ethos here in Canada, is where people aren't ready to let go of everything online, because while they're trying to grow their in-person presence, because it might have to shift again. They don't want to reinvent the wheel digitally again. Right. So.
Yeah. So I keep 2 classes. I've got Monday class, intermediate level, and the Friday class, the teacher's class. I have 2 online privates, one in Japan, one in Ireland. And I'm not even sure, because I haven't scheduled any workshops. For about a year, I gave about 3 workshops every month online. But I think also teachers are now back to work. They don't have the time.
Different demands,
They've taken so many workshops in the last year that probably they need a bit of a break. So I think this term I'm just going to chill out a little bit and see what's happening, and maybe do like another face-to-face workshop if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's happening with all the online and with the like face-to-face conferences? Do you know anything about that? Is anyone?
I haven't heard anything, and none of them are happening in Canada anyways. They were all like in the US anyway. So for me, like I've never been to a Pilates conference.
Right.
Yeah. So so I don't know. One day.
Yeah. One day maybe, or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Balanced Body had an annual conference in London.
Okay.
Their Pilates on tour. But obviously they had to cancel the one a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And who knows? I mean, for them, it's a huge operation. I mean, talking about my retreat, it's nothing for them to bring their operation to Europe is massive.
Right, exactly. I know there's people in their office that secretly relieved that they don't have to do it anymore. At the same time, it's such an undertaking, right? Someone's like, ooh, like it's use that.
But then again, I don't think there's replacement to face. It's it's you cannot compare it really, but
Yeah,
We'll see. One step at a time.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for jumping on,
Yeah,
Chad.
of course. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
as
And
always.
next September, I hear you're coming to the retreat.
I'd love to. I gotta plan that out. I gotta do my whole Europe tour.
Absolutely. You know you're
Yes.
invited.
Oh, that'd
You're
be so
show
good.
you. Here, I'll show you your room. Can you see through the garden? That's your room.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Cool.
All right. Thanks again, Emmett.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yes. Got that X. Actually, I can. You press the X in top right corner.
Yep.
There you go. Nice. Okay, so the plans on tour in November will be virtual. Cool. There you go. Nice. Yes. I should start planning that. By the time the world opens up, I should probably plan it for 2022 to go to Europe and just visit turn my digital friends into IRL, in real life friends. That'll be so fun. That would be so good. All right. Well, here's the deal. Tomorrow, Raphael is joining me. He is at 3 p.m. And today I'm going to figure out what we're going to do for 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be fun. I have a few ideas, a few things I have planned, and I'm going to reach out to some people and see if we can make it happen. Other than that, definitely tune in for 3 o'clock. I've got to hear what our Australian friends, this guy does more, I think he does a lot of nutrition as well as Pilates and movement stuff. Dan's a Pilates guy, and Chloe Bunter, is amazing. I've been chatting with her for months to get her on. So we finally landed at a time that's going to work. So it's going to be fun. And we get a perspective on what Pilates in Australia looks like. I've heard some things. Like I heard that like you actually have to, like it's almost like physiotherapy, like that level of certification in Australia for Pilates. So it's a next level, different intention. So I've had Movement Refinery on, I've had Nick on, I've had Celia Jones, quite a few people. So having some other perspectives. So Joel, you're teaching in November. Amazing. Good stuff. Okay, I'll start to post that as it gets a little closer as well, so we can cheer you on as always. All right, party people, we are out. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for making these freestyles just fun to just chat. Emmett, appreciate you joining me on screen. And to Lisa, Sunny, and all you other people who are just sharing in the chat, I really appreciate all that you do. And yes, Claire as well. Philip Griffin, we see you, and Pilates Hottie IG. Thank you, Angela. All right, we are out. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday for Australia. Peace out.